Hi everyone, it's Beth. I am going to give you kind of a short class. This one is in all levels for sure. If you want to have some props, blocks, a strap, or a bolster are nice to have. If you do not own yoga props, nice alternatives for those are anything for a block, anything that brings the ground up. So a book or a box or anything like that works. For a strap, anything like a belt or a tie or a piece of rope or anything like that works as a strap. You can definitely do this practice without props. Remember, don't ever move through anything painful or push yourself past something that feels like you're loving yourself. That's the only real rule. Okay, so get on your mat. And we're going to begin laying down. Lying onto your back. Beginning to notice little bits of the sensory experience. Checking in with your low back. And if you need to bend your knees, you can bend your knees and clasp them in towards one another to take some of the pressure off the low back as you lie down. Starting to soften the muscles of the face. Smoothing out the forehead. Relaxing into the backs of the eyes. Softening the jaw. Relaxing the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Softening the scalp. Tracing the hairline in your mind and feeling softness spread like fingers down to the nape of the neck. And then begin to notice that you're breathing. Starting to notice the sensation of the rise of the chest and then the fall. Starting to even out the inhale and even out the exhale. Putting it to a count of 4. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, out 4, 3, 2, 1. In 1, 2, 3, 4, out 4, 3, 2, 1. In 1, 2, 3, 4, out 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, draw the breath in as deeply as you can. Deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and fill the lungs and hold. And then wide open mouth, use your diaphragm, exhale. Good, inhale. Deeper than the last breath, building space incrementally in the lungs. Hold at the top. Wide open mouth, breathe it out. Good, and then inhale, reach the arms overhead. If the legs aren't already extended, extend them long. Give yourself a whole body stretch, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, knees to chest. And start to circle the knees. Noticing all 4 corners of the low back. Reversing directions if you haven't already. And then taking a happy baby. Holding on to either the backs of the thighs, backs of the knees, ankles, feet, or toes. letting the knees fall to the outside edges of the ribs, allowing your tailbone to curl up a little bit, starting to move. Relax the jaw. Good, let the left leg go long and make sure it's soft on the ground. So this left leg is totally passive, and start to move around through this right leg. Circling the knee. Relax the jaw, the chest. Good, externally rotate so this right knee points to the right. Draw the shin bone in. Rock around a little bit. It's almost as if you're in pigeon position, but someone flipped you over. Good, rest this right foot on the top of the left thigh, bending that left knee, placing the foot on the thigh, anchoring that left foot, arms alongside the body. Inhale here. Exhale, lift the left foot away from the ground, reach the arms through and grab that left leg. Right here is a very good place to stay. So if this feels good, stay right where you are. Otherwise, anchoring that left foot back down, starting to come up on the elbows. From here, if everything feels okay, start to come to wrists. Press into the hands, start to move the chest. Think about it like cat and cow. Good. Staying right here or starting to lift the hip points. Press into the fingertips. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, slowly lower. Go our way back down onto the back. Happy baby. Noticing your body. Good, right leg goes long and passive, make sure it's loose. Start to move this leg around. So you're looking for sensation in the left hip socket. Try not to overthink it and keep the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Externally rotating, left knee points to the left. Arch of the foot faces in, rock the shin bone around. Good, bend that right knee, plant the right foot, left foot on the top of the right thigh. Thread the arms through, grab a hold of the back of the leg and draw the legs in. Inhale. Deep exhale. Good. Let this foot come down to the mat. Tuck the elbows. Maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you come to wrists. Cat and cow spine. Good. Maybe this is where you stay. Or maybe you get really familiar with the sensation under the fingertips. Press into that right foot, lift the hip points. Notice your spine and your hips. Don't move through anything sharp. That left knee starts to draw down as the hip points draw up. Shoulder blades come together to support the heart. Inhale. Exhale. Come all the way down. Good. This time coming to a seat. Making sure you're comfortable in your seat. Roll out the shoulders. Good. 2 rounds of Kapalabhati breathing, which is translated to skull shining breath. It's that rapid exhale through the nose pressed from the diaphragm. It's called skull shining breath because it kind of clears the mental fog and the metabolic waste that sits at the bottom of our lungs. It starts to stoke the internal fire. It starts to tone our core from the inside out. It can help with things like memory and cognition. It helps us be a little bit brighter and more clear. So we're going to do 2 rounds of that breath, starting with a deep, slow inhale. Exhaling it out. And then when you're ready, begin. If this isn't a breath you're familiar with, you can put your hand on your diaphragm and actually feel the diaphragm pressing the lungs to empty, and use that muscle to start to really engage the diaphragm, clearing out the carbon dioxide that cools the bottom of our lungs. Deep inhale, hold. Wide open mouth, let it go. Inhale. Exhale it out. Second round of Kapalabhati. Begin. Deep, slow inhale, hold. Exhale. Roll the shoulders. Good. Start to reach the fingers out, flip the palms open, wiggle out the fingers. Draw the shoulders down the spine. Inhale, swoop the arms up. Exhale, right hand down, left hand over. Anchor the left sit bone, draw that left shoulder into its socket. Move through space, opposite side. Right sit bone anchors, reach that right shoulder blade down. Good. Roll into a table position. For the first few moments of table, just stack everything up and start to move through cat and cow. Take your time. Start to incorporate the chin a little bit more. Press the chin deeply into the chest as you press the ground away. Reach through the chin, extend through the throat. Good, keep moving. And then start to notice what your spine is craving. Maybe it's some lateral movement, pressing ribs side to side. Maybe it's circling of the rib cage. Good. And then neutral spine. Making sure that the belly button is drawing into the backbone. Take the right toes, reach them as far away as you can, pointing the toes. Make sure this right hip point is still pointing towards the mat. Navel draws up. Deep breath here. Start to draw circles with the right toes. Larger. Larger. Largest circle you can draw. Trying to keep the ribs steady. Reverse the direction of the circling. Good. Right toes to the sky. Keep that right hip point pointing towards the mat. Elbows into the ribs, fingertips active, press the chest forward, keep the elbows alongside the ribs, bring the forehead to a hover, reach through the toes, press up. Inhale here. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep reaching through the toes, inhale, lift. This time, tuck the left toes, send the leg up, three-legged dog. Wiggle the toes, circle the ankle. Good. Float this flying leg behind the standing leg. Walk the hands back. Cross-legged forward fold. Notice the body. In this, you can really bend your knees as deeply as you need to feel the stretch. Press into the heels. Nod the head yes and no. Good. Walk the hands forward. Take that right leg back up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Slowly with control, bend the left knee, bring it all the way back down. Good, bring that right knee down. Cat and cow. Good. Neutral spine, left toes reach to the back of the room. Try to really reach that long, keeping that left hip pointing towards the mat. Tiny little circles. Reaching through the toe. Bigger. Bigger. Biggest. Good. Reverse the direction all the way back down. Reach through the toes. Check in with the elbows. They should be pointing to the back of the mat, so not out to the sides. Elbows to the back of the mat, right up against the ribs, fingertips active. Toes to the sky, forehead to the mat. Press up. Move with the breath. Good. And then next time you're up, stay up. Inhale. Tuck the toes. Exhale all the way up, three-legged dog. Even balance of weight between both hands, so don't sag into that right armpit. Float the flying leg behind the standing leg. Walk the hands back. Bend the knees as deeply as you need to. Nod the head yes and no. Good. Untangle the legs. Take them wider than your hips. Bend your knees as deeply as you need to. Ragdoll. Try to notice if you're holding on to a sense of control here. Rock your weight towards your toes. Nod your head yes and no. Try to give yourself over to the practice a little bit. Don't think about it in terms of what you can accomplish. Think about it in terms of what you can feel. Can you feel your legs here? Can you feel your low back? Can you feel your neck? Inhale. Tuck the chin. Slow, stack the bones on the exhale. One by one by one by one. Notice as you come up. Good, roll the shoulders. Top of the mat. For a moment, hold still. Taking a hand to the chest and a hand to the belly and notice what it feels like to be here. Release the hands, flip the palms, inhale. Exhale. Halfway lift, so your hands can be on the ground here or at the fronts of the legs. Spine is long, chest comes forward, shoulders back, head towards the shins. Good, step the right foot back. Start to move on the ball of the foot, so rocking forward and back, noticing that calf muscle on the right leg. Make sure that your feet are hips width apart. Good. And then keeping the right hand anchored, spiral that left arm towards the sky. Think about the navel coming to the spine. Stack the shoulder blades. Inhale. Exhale, left hand down. Good, deep breath. Imagine you're holding on to something that runs up and down the midline of your mat with your inner thighs. So you're drawing towards the midline here. Start to reach up, roll the shoulders. If there's a pinching in your low back here, and it's not your cup of tea, you can always stay down here. Roll your shoulders wherever you are, so either here or here. If you're lifted, notice that the pelvic floor is lifting up and the navel to the spine, so there's a nice sense of strength in the low back. Good. Right hand down, left arm back up to the sky. Navel to the spine, deep breath, staying here, or you can start to bend that back knee. So kick the heel towards the glute, like this. Deep breath here. This is a good place to stay. Just noticing that the inner thighs are still balancing you towards the midline, reaching through the flying hand, or maybe you want to start to synchronize that hand and touch the foot. Keep breathing. Good, last time, foot back, hand down, steps the front to the back, plank position. Deep breath here, inhale. Exhale, with or without knees, elbows into the ribs, chaturanga. Cobra. Down dog. Deep breath. Good. Slowly bend the knees, really slowly, all the way down. Uncurl the toes, come up to a high kneel. Hands to the low back, press the hip points forward. Think about the ribs lifting away from the hips for a moment. Inhale. Wide open mouth, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Hands down, toes tuck, downward dog. Wag your tail. Soften the belly. Good. Right foot forward. Rock forward and back on the ball of the back foot. Notice that your feet are hips width apart. Good. Anchor the left hand to take the right arm up. Navel to spine, stack the shoulder blades. Reach through the flying arm, inhale. Exhale, hand down. Good. Start to bring the fingertips to a hover, or you can leave your hands down. Whatever feels better on your back, roll the shoulders. Inner thighs to the midline, pelvic floor to navel. Keep breathing. Think about what you're trying to control here and what you're just feeling. Can you feel your chest open as you roll your shoulders back? Or are you overthinking it? Try and get it just right. No such thing. Good. Left hand down, right arm up. Stay right here if this feels good. Think about the length of the spine from the very base all the way up through the head. Or start to bend that back knee and kick the heel. Maybe the hand comes back. Good. Last one. Foot back. Front foot to the back, plank position. Inhale. Elbows into the ribs. Exhale. Cobra. Inhale. Hold. Hold the breath and the pose. Draw the chest forward. Wide open mouth. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. All the way down. Tuck the toes. Downward dog. Wag the tail. Good. Slowly bend the knees. Bring the knees all the way down onto the mat. Lifting up into a high kneel. Hands to the low back. So the heels of the palms go to that spot on the back that always feels a little achy. Fingertips down. Good. Inhale, lift the ribs, just the ribs. Exhale slowly. Inhale, lift the ribs a little more. Exhale slowly. Good. Inhale this time, hold. Press the pelvic bone just a little bit forward with the hands. Exhale. Good. Hips to heels. Hands forward, child's. Good. Tuck the toes. Downward dog. Wag the tail. Walk the hands back to the feet. Take the feet wider than the hips. Ragdoll. Let yourself sway. Think about that control thing again. We're in a situation these days where we're always grasping for things that we can control. Honestly, I think the thing that we should be trying to control is our sense of trying to control everything. So notice the sensation instead of trying to make the pose something specific. Try to notice the bones opening in the neck. Try to notice the weight of the head. Notice the shoulders drawing towards the tailbone. Inhale. On the exhale, tucking the chin, rolling up, bone by bone by bone by bone by bone. Roll the shoulders. Good. Getting to the top of the mat. Flip the palms open. Take a moment. Notice the width of the collarbones. Notice your breath. Inhale, swoop up. Exhale, swoop down. Halfway up. Forehead all the way down. Step the right foot back. Keeping the heel pressing to the back of the room so you're on the ball of that right foot. Even out your hips so your hips are square. Rock a little forward and back. Good. Right hand anchors, left hand goes spinning towards the sky. Navel to spine. Think about the hips pressing away from the ribs. Reach the fingers. This is a good place to stay, or you can start to bend the knee and kick the heel again. If you're here, then maybe bring the hand back into it, and building on the muscle memory we built, maybe you grab the foot. If you grab the foot, sink into the hips. Breathe. So I'm going to show you what this looks like from the front. So maybe you're here. Deep breath. Maybe that right foot kicks out to the side. Maybe you sink into that right hip. Breathe. Inhale. On the exhale, press into that left foot. Untangle yourself. Send that leg back. So we're all meeting here. Start to nuzzle that right leg back down to the ground. Left hand to the left knee. Take this left rib cage, roll it towards the ceiling. Gaze over that left shoulder. Breathe. This might be it for you. Maybe you reach that left arm back. Maybe this feels good, and that's your sweet spot. Or maybe you kick the foot in and grab a hold of the foot. If you have a hold of the foot, sink into the right hip. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Good. Release. Downward dog. Wag the tail. Slowly bend the knees. Coming all the way up into a high kneel. For a moment, finding some stillness. Trying to soften the belly. Trying to notice the chest rise and fall with the breath. Good. Now, you can take the heels of the palms right back to the low back. Again, just the same way we did before, and hold this version of camel. This is a lot of good work happening because you're still opening up the front of the body, you're still strengthening the back of the body. So if that's where your sweet spot is today, stick it out there. If you want to take it a little bit deeper into camel, we're going to tuck the right toes first, so that the heel's a little higher. Take this right arm, stretch it all the way up. Draw the shoulder blade down and start to windmill this arm back. As you windmill the arm back, try to keep this right hip point moving forward. Maybe your fingers touch the heel. If they do, great. Land them there. If they don't, without pinching in the low back, bring your hand to the low back. So those are your options, or if you have a block or pseudo block, you can use that too. Wherever you are. Think about that hip point coming forward. Take the left arm up. Draw the left shoulder into its socket. Inhale. Slowly exhale. If your neck is having a hard time with this, tuck your chin towards that right shoulder. Keep breathing. Keep lifting the heart. Keep thinking about the ribs coming forward and then up. And then slowly release. Releasing those toes, roll the shoulders, shift the hips. Good. Tuck the left toes. Take the left arm up. Windmill it back. Notice, does it graze the heel without any kind of pinching? If it does, land the fingers. Draw this left hip forward. Bring the right arm up. Shoulder into the socket. Make your neck comfortable. And breathe. Think about the rib cage lifting. Don't push yourself into pain. If you start to get a little tight, you can always bring the hand to the low back again. Keep lifting through the ribs. Good. Slowly release. Take your time. Knees wide, hips to heels. Child's. Shifting the ribs a little side to side. Good. Tuck the toes. Downward dog. Right foot forward. Maybe hang out with that left foot, left hand down, right arm up, and hold here. Or maybe start to kick the heel again. Think about where your weight is going if you're kicking the heel. Notice the hand and notice the foot that are still planted. And then maybe take the hand back a couple times. And then maybe grab the foot. If you have a hold of the foot, sinking into the hips until you feel that right leg light up. And then maybe kick that leg off to the side and sink into the left hip. Breathe. Notice. Don't miss your opportunity to notice. Good. Slowly come out of it at your own pace. Send that leg back. Right leg to meet it, plank position. Good. Inhale. Wide open mouth. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Elbows into the ribs. Exhale. Chaturanga. Cobra. Good. All the way down onto the forehead. Bring your forearms out into Sphinx pose so that your elbows are right below the shoulders. Press into the fingertips and press into the forearms. Think about the elbows energetically drawing back as the chest moves forward. Keep breathing. If this doesn't feel like much to you, if you feel like you need some more depth, anchor the hands, lift just a little through the forearms. Keep breathing. Think about the heart coming forward and then down. Good. You can linger in either of those things, forearms down or forearms just a tiny bit lifted. Or anchoring the fingers, anchoring the tops of the feet. Lift the elbows and lower. Lift, lower. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe. It's a tiny little movement, but you should feel the strength bubbling up. Good. All the way up, downward dog. Exhale. Good. So from here, hands are anchored. Reach through the tailbone. So think about the sit bones reaching towards the sky here. Keep that going. Turn the elbows out to the sides. So this is kind of counterintuitive because we spend so much time thinking about the elbows coming down alongside of us. This time the elbows are coming out to the sides of the mat, bringing the head to a hover. Press up. Hover. Press up. Neck stays long. Hover. Press up. If you've had enough of this malarkey, stop at any point. You can hold down dog or take a child's pose. Otherwise, moving with your breath. Noticing where the strength is originating from. Trying to observe it in a way that feels sensational. Sensational in both of the definitions, like, ooh, that's awesome, sensational, and also the feeling of the senses. Notice. Maybe it's not all like your favorite. I don't know. But it's still probably full of sensory something. Notice. All right, now, if you're with me, you're going to bring the head to a hover here. You don't have to be, by the way. You can abandon me at this point. If you're here, head's at a hover, tiny, 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 tiny little pulses. Breathe. These little movements help open pickle jars. Keep breathing. Good. Release. Knees down. Hips to heels. Child's. Circle the wrists. Maybe interlacing the fingers. Draw the knuckles towards the sky. Only if your shoulders really want you to. If not, let that part go. And then release the arms long in front of you. Good, tuck the chin. Roll up to a high kneel. Wag the tail. Roll the shoulders. Good. So, we've done a couple different versions of Camel so far, and you can stick with the hands to the low back. You can do one arm at a time, or you can go into whatever your version of full Camel is today. I'm going to tuck my toes because my back's really kind of tight today. You can keep your feet flat if you want to. Otherwise, you can use blocks, pseudo blocks, hands to the low back, whatever your cup of tea is. If you're following me into full Camel, fingers up, shoulders down, pelvic bone forward, one arm at a time, coming back to the heels, and then thinking about the hip points coming forward, navel in, ribs lift. Maybe you do the wild abandon head throw, or maybe your neck isn't in the mood, and then you kind of rooster your chin forward to protect the neck. Keep breathing. If you can't breathe in the pose, it's not yoga anymore. So come out of it a little bit if you can't breathe. Good, slowly release. Knees wide, shift your ribs side to side. Walk the hands forward, nice and slow. Two more breaths here. Hands down, toes tuck, downward dog. Walk the hands slowly back to the feet. Take your feet wider than your hips. Ragdoll. Nod your head yes and no. Good, tuck the chin, nice and slow, roll up, bone by bone, by bone, by bone. Roll the shoulders. Walk all the way to the top of the mat. Hands to the heart. Take a moment and take stock. Not just of what your physical body is feeling like, but how has your mind been throughout this practice? Is it highly distracted? Are you playing the perfectionism game? Are you thinking about your laundry, your dog, your sandwich, whatever? For a moment, do a diagnostic and try to understand how to balance out whatever it is that you are. So if you're really feeling lazy, maybe in the next sequence, you start to ignite a little bit more fire and you push yourself in that direction. Or if on the flip side, you're feeling really aggressive, perfectionist-y, all that stuff, then maybe you do less than what you can do and notice the sensation of pulling back and find that balance. So do your diagnostic for a moment. How am I feeling? Am I feeling like I'm pushing everything I've got to the edges? Or am I feeling like I'm so tired and I don't really give a shit about anything right now? Somewhere in there, you'll find yourself in that range. And then try to keep that knowledge of self in mind as we move through the next little sequence. Left foot pushes, hover the right foot. This is a spot you can stay and work on finding strength to find balance, even though that right foot is hovering. To build on this, bend the knee, bring the thigh bone to parallel to the ground. Tiny little circles with the right knee. Switch directions. Good, you can stay here. Or start to push this heel to the back of the room. And then right back forward, knee bends. Back. Forward. Back. Navel to spine, forward. Back. Forward. Okay, so you're getting what we're doing here. Maybe You start to balance this out, maybe go back to the hover, maybe hold in one position or the other. Or, next time you're back, hold, point the toe, arms alongside the body. Inhale. Exhale, hands down towards the ground. You can bend this standing knee as much as you need to. Good, deep breath. Good, send that right leg or right toes towards the sky, standing split, deep breath. Good, bend the knee, start to bring it in towards the chest, press into that left foot, see if you can come to a stand. Bringing that thigh bone back to parallel to the ground, deep breath. Good, send this right leg forward. Press through the heel, draw that hip into its socket, navel to spine. Arms up, inhale. Exhale without bending the knee, see if you can bring everything back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Good, release. Circle that standing ankle. Find a standing pose that serves. Deep breath. Good. Other side. Left foot hovers. This might be your pose. Working on hovering 1 foot away from the ground is a lot of work. Trying to stay balanced without all the wobbles. Otherwise, knee bends. Send it back. Send it forward. We forgot those circles, so circle for a minute. Both directions. Okay, now proceed. Good. Next time it's back, stay. Hands come down towards the ground. Front knee is bent as deeply as you need it to be. Reach the leg towards the sky. Breathe. Bring the knee in towards the chest. Press into the standing foot. Think about what you are sensing, not what you're thinking, not what you want to do, what it feels like to do it. Good. Staying here. We're taking the leg out. Arms up. Back. Woo! Good. Foot down. Circle that standing ankle. Throw the work off. Open up the hands. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, sweep down. Halfway. All the way down. Bend the knees, deliver yourself all the way down onto a seat. Hi, Gina. Come on. Come. Put your legs out in front of you. Pop out your knees. Some great breath. Good. Plant your sit bones so that they're nice and grounded. Bend your knees as deeply as you need to. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, navel to spine, fold over the legs. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. You can hold on wherever you want to. So backs of the thighs, backs of the calves, ankles, loop the toes, whatever works for you. But find some length in your spine. Nod the head yes and no. Tuck the chin, roll up. Roll the shoulders. Good, soles of the feet together. Option to stay right here, or option to move with me through 8 angle pose, which is an arm balance. So letting the right leg come down, left leg up, flop over the left tricep. Not too much work in this leg. Right ankle on top of the left. Hands anchored. Think about all of the muscle that we built through this practice. Pelvic floor to navel, back to the bottom off the ground, legs, inner thighs draw in towards the midline, the same way they did in those standing lunges. Breathe. Good. Press up, release the legs, pop them out. Roll up the shoulders. Opposite side. If this is where you are, where the leg's just over your arm, there's still a lot of good work happening opening up the hips, so you can take it there. Excuse me, Juna. Otherwise, left ankle on top of the right. Deep breath. Inner thighs come into the midline. Breathe. Juna's licking my feet. And release. Pop out the legs, roll out the shoulders, and then lay down onto the back. Drawing both knees into the chest. Flattening the low back onto the ground, rolling the knees around. Good, dropping the knees down to the right, reaching the left arm to the left. Knees through, center, opposite side. Back to center, squeezing the knees in. Taking the feet up to the sky. Wiggling out the toes. At this point, you can slide a pillow under your tailbone if you want to. You can take an inverted action by propping up your tailbone. You can do legs up a wall. If you're practiced in headstand or handstand, you can do that at this point. But notice the blood flow shifting from the toes to the ankles, through the knees, to the hips, to the belly. As I've been dealing with this situation of remarkable uncertainty, I have been encountering these kind of control freak types of personality traits. I am not typically much of a control freak, but this situation has kind of thrown me into a position where I feel as if I need to control every little thing that I can because everything is so uncertain. And so as I've been kind of moving through the circumstances, it's becoming clearer and clearer that I need to do more things like what I'm doing right now, which is teaching yoga with my dog next to my dirty laundry on tape, which is the absolute opposite of what I'm comfortable doing, and I feel this huge lack of control. I don't know how these poses are affecting my students. I don't know what their thoughts and ideas are. It's out of my comfort zone by a large margin. So as I've been working with myself lately in my yoga practice, it's about identifying that moment where I have to let go of control. Sometimes it means that the pose is imperfect. Sometimes it means I don't go as deep. Sometimes it means I push out of my comfort zone into an area I could fail. But as you're here in your inversion, give yourself a moment, and it's just a few moments to feel like you don't have to control a damn thing. for the next several breaths, the only thing you have to do is feel your body. And then slowly drawing the knees in. Taking any counter or closing postures. And then lying down in whatever your most comfortable final relaxation is. And it doesn't have to be anything specific. It doesn't have to be the classic Shavasana pose, but lying down into a pose that feels nurturing. Noticing your gravity. And the pace of your breath. Feeling the muscles in the face soften. Feeling that sense of gravity under both feet and the sense of gravity under both hands. Feeling the skin soften away from the muscle. Feeling the muscle soften away from the bone. And noticing that you're here in this specific moment. And then beginning to notice your breath. Drawing the inhale in slowly and articulately. Letting the exhale go slowly and completely. On the next inhale, draw the breath in as deeply as you can. Open up the mouth and let it go. Inhaling. Open up the mouth wider, let it go. Inhale, reach fingers and toes. Start to wiggle and shift. Exhale, knees to chest. Rocking to the right side and then pressing yourself up to sit. Thank you for joining me. Please have patience with me as I get a little bit more used to this bizarre form of teaching. I miss being in the same room as all of you. It will happen though. May the kindness we wish to see in this world begin with the kindness we extend to ourselves. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.